Have you ever heard of a little something called geared impoppable?
Perhaps if there is enough demand, I will go more in depth into some of my like sprite designs and workflow about all of these different models that I used for my history section of this video. But mostly I just would like to thank Irina for helping me make at least the base for this SNES or 16-bit character. All of the other ones are pretty much fully made by myself. And then I would really like to actually highlight the N64 model, because I do not have experience with those. As you can see from here, I did actually try to make a model of my own, but it was taking way too long, it was delaying the video even more, and I just didn't want to end up uploading this in like February or March or April or whatever. So then I just decided, hey, maybe there's like a ready 3D model somewhere that I can use, like a low poly 3D model. So then Kekis, my absolute goat friend, he clutched up for me and he borrowed me the Descent Fella model, the one right here. He didn't make it, but it worked surprisingly well, and then I ended up painting the textures on top of the model in Pixelmator by just using the fill tool to get the different colors for triangles, and that was it. I am not a good Blender user, whatever you call those people. I am still learning, and I did not learn enough to make this video on my own. But the me character was also made kind of on Blender, at least it was rigged through Blender, so I did learn something, and it was very fun. While I was learning to use Blender to make my own me character as a 3D model that I could manually pose, as you can see, with all of these different poses, my friend Kekis was in the voice chat with me, trying to help me with this whole process, and unfortunately he made me do the pose for, 6-7. I hate myself. I actually wanted to have like periodical music from like each period of gaming that I was talking about in the history section, but I stumbled into an issue quite early on. The Atari 2600 or all of the second generation consoles in general, they kind of had like dog shit music. I'm sorry, it just is so bad. Just listen to this one. Yeah, absolutely unbearable. But I ended up just inventing one song from scratch. I just needed two from Pitfall, which actually has a relatively bearable soundtrack, and then I just made one song on my own. It's called Escapades. I don't know if it's actually good enough to be listened on its own outside of the video's context, but I'm going to upload it soon, like separately as maybe like a longer or extended version, if people care enough, I don't know. But yeah, that was fun to do. There are tons of great there are tons of great there are tons of great Do you guys actually think that Magnavox predicted Super Mario Bros? And a dwindling group of loyal partners like Rare, becoming increasingly reliant on their own output, and a dwindling group of loyal and the dwindling group of loyal pul- and the dwindling group of loyal pl- and the dwindling group of loyal partner the sixth genera- the sixth generation of consoles distinguishes itself as an rare and was unceremoniously put down.
Halutaanko me vielä katsoa joku nopea mic check, mikä voi olla tää tällä hetkellä? Kuuluuhan tää hyvin, jos mä niinku puhun tässä.
Joo. Sä voit sanoa näitä sun laineja vai?
Where am I? Where?
Huh?
Huh? Where am I? Piu.
Siellä oli Piu Kuko kakkosessa.
Oh no.
Tää oli hyvä.
Okay.
Trust me bro. However, I fear this has started a death spiral. However, I fear this has started a death spiral for both the PlayStation. The PS5 doesn't have any games. Even worse, it literally can't run games. Just look at mine. I press the power button and it just starts. Oops. PlayStation is hanging on by a thread. Not gone and definitely still making a lot of money, And I highly doubt a 6th console would sell well. As of recording this video, and it's weird how I don't see that many people talking about this, but the PlayStation is hanging on by a thread. The Switch has already passed both of those consoles in the Switch has already passed the Switch has already passed both of those the Switch has already passed both of the the Switch has already passed both of those consoles and their success. That fact that Nintendo did always know what was best to do with the handheld market, that fact that Nintendo did always know what that fact Näkyykö siinä vaan pää?